On this week's show, the CPSC has approved a rear guard to fix the Peloton Tread Plus.
Plus, the Bruce Springsteen Artist Series is finally here. Kirsten Ferguson is off the schedule with an injury, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 129 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt, and today I am joined by my guest co-host, who you don't see very often because he's usually behind the scenes preparing articles and posts for the Pelo Buddy website and social media channels, but this is the man, the myth, the legend, the brainchild of Pelo Buddy, Mr. Chris Lewis.
Hey, John, how are you doing today?
Good to see you, Chris.
Yeah, it's good to, be on camera with you for once. Not just looking at you on the camera.
And not just being the voice in our earpiece in the control room.
I know, it's going to be weird having the other Chris, coming in and being on that side of things.
Don't be nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about if you're nervous, Chris. You'll do fine.
We're all good, so we'll make it through this.
I know you'll make Amanda and John Mills very proud.
I will.
Your co-hosting ability.
I'll make everyone be ready for them to be back. So
Cool. Well, how is your week otherwise going?
It was good. Spent a little bit of time on the rower. Really enjoying that, and just How about yours?
Yeah, it was good. Nice week. The weather has kind of cooled off in Michigan. It's low, like 65 degrees here, so we've had a nice cold front come in, and it was nice to see you on the row recently. I noticed, I even looked it up, you've got quite a few rows under your belt already. I need to catch up to your numbers. Yeah,
I've been enjoying the low impact, and just it's easy to hop on and knock one out and get a good sweat, so that's kind of been my go-to these days. So I've been spending some more time on it.
Yeah, 20 minutes on the row is really all my attention span can currently handle right now. It's like beyond that, I seem to get bored with it, but there's always seems to be 20-minute. That seems to be their focus, the 20-minute classes.
Which to be fair,
putting out lately on the schedule.
It's kind of been like that across all devices too. Over recent years, they've been moving more towards those shorter ones than longer ones. But I do agree, it kind of makes sense for the rower that. So that can be a little more monotonous for some people than others. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Well, before we jump right into the news, we always like to remind our viewers and listeners, Chris, how they can keep up to date with all of our content across all the platforms. So every episode is posted on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, ring that bell there so you get notifications whenever there is new content posted. And also, if you want to listen to us while you're on the move, we are on all traditional podcast platforms. Just search Pelo Buddy TV, subscribe to us there, click the notifications as well so you never miss an update or an episode. And also, we are on Facebook, Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok too, Chris. So we have some TikTok content lately.
We do. It's a little old. We need to get a little better about that. By that, but we're on there, and hopefully we'll start posting stuff a little more regularly. But you can find us there.
Nice. And that's pretty much it. Why don't we just jump right in and get on with the show?
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
Great. Well, our top story this week has been 2 years in the making, but the CPSC this week has approved a rear guard to fix the Tread Plus. The Tread Plus was first recalled around 2 years ago in May of 2021. After a back and forth with the CPSC, there was initially them saying they should recall it. The CEO at the time, John Foley, said, no, we're not going to recall it. A few weeks later, they ended up. And for the last 2 years, it's been recalled. You couldn't buy it. There was no kind of official updates about it until this past Thursday. Peloton and the CPSC put out a press release saying that the CPSC has approved a fix for the Tread Plus, and that's in the form of a rear guard. A couple months ago, we actually posted the patent for the rear guard had been filed. Bob Tremore first found that. So it was kind of expected that was going to be the fix that solved everything. And today, And on Thursday, that kind of became official. The press release said that the innovative guard features a breakaway design that pivots away from the treadmill when it comes in contact with an object. It will shut off power and safely decelerate the belt. So, it sounds like it's a little bit more than just a piece of plastic that goes off, the back of it. There's a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
They did note that unlike the bike recall that's happening right now where they'll just send you the seat post, this one, they'll send you the piece for free, but they'll also send a technician who will install it. It did say that it will be later this
Makes
year.
sense.
They didn't give a more specific timeline, but the CPSC press release mentioned fall of 2023. So I think we're still a couple months away, but it should definitely be this year. One other thing to note is that if you want to return it still, that recall period is still open until November of 2023. So you can wait and see what it looks like and decide if you want to return it or not.
So what do you think? Do you think, the biggest question I saw when you posted this on Instagram was, do we think it's going to be back on sale, the Tread Plus, this year? What does your gut tell you?
It's hard to say. I do think they will bring it back because we shared, I think John Mills was talking last week about how in the latest earnings report, Barry McCarthy said that he does hope to have 2 treadmills back on the market before too long. So I do think the plan is to bring it back for sale. With the November return deadline, I can see them potentially waiting until after that passes to bring it back for sale. Because the other thing we don't know is if the Tread comes back for sale, what the new price is going to be. It could be the same price, but there's been a lot of price changes on everything over the last 2 years. So who knows what it'll be priced at now?
Yeah, that's just what I was about to ask. Because I noticed someone said, do we think over under 6,000 American dollars? Because I think it was around originally when it was on sale. Wasn't it around 4,000?
I think with taxes and everything, it might have come out to right around $5,000 all in. But it was between that $4,000 and $5,000 mark.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just looking up, because we got our Tread Plus back in October of 2020. I was just looking on Affirm, and mine's almost, like, I'm happy to say I'm almost paid off on that thing. So it'll be paid off by the end of this year. And I know a lot of folks had been experiencing this screen freezing issue, and luckily I haven't had that. I just had my base replaced, so I feel like I have almost a whole new machine now, but I have not had that screen freeze issue that I know a lot of Tread Plus owners have been plagued by currently, and I know Amanda had that issue for a while, among other things with hers. But knock on wood, hopefully I'm good now.
Yeah, one other quick note to mention is just that the CPC actually provided a couple more details about what's happened since the recall. They noted that since the May 2021 recall, there ended up being an extra 279 incidents of items being sucked under the tread since then, and there were 61 additional reports of injuries. No deaths. So that means that since the recall, or since all the incidents combined, there were a total of 351 reports of pull-unders, including 90 reports of injuries to consumers.
And that's just with the Tread Plus or both?
Just
Peloton?
with the Tread Plus.
Gotcha. I wonder where that is in terms of normalcy with other major tread manufacturers like Norditrack or that other one that's not powered. It's Assault, I think it's called. I'm just curious what their report.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I know there was another question a lot of people have been talking about this entire time. There's other more powerful treadmills out there like the Woodway and some others, and why has there not been recalls on those? Because there's the same sort of potential design issues that are the same, but I think it's just a numbers game. There's a lot more Peloton Tread Pluses out there, in homes, so it's just you're more likely to have incidents with it just due to there being more numbers.
Yeah, and the Woodway is like a ridiculously high end,
it's $10,000.
Crazy expensive, yeah. So obviously there's not going to be as many in homes. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, shifting gears a little bit regarding recalls. The recall regarding the original Peloton Bike, it's now being offered to anyone, no matter what time frame they bought their Peloton bike. So Peloton will send a replacement seat post to anyone who owns that OG Peloton bike, so a non-Bike Plus, essentially, to anyone in the U.S., no matter how old it is. Although the official recall states it's for models sold between January of 2018 to May of 2023 in the U.S., Peloton clarified recently on social media that anyone with an original Peloton bike, no matter how old it is, can order that free seat post replacement. And now, as we had expected, more recently, the seat post was also recalled in Canada. So while the U.S., just to give some numbers, background, while the U.S. has seen 35 reports of injury due to this seat post issue, out of around 2.2 million bikes sold, Canada has had only one reported incident out of 108,000 bikes sold. And that incident did not cause an injury, so it wasn't serious. The Canadian recall information also provides more specifically regarding the situation in which the safety issue has occurred. They go on to say the bike seat post assembly can break during use, posing fall and injury hazards to the user. The issue has been most commonly occurring in users who are taller than 5 feet 11 inches and above 250 pounds. So just one point to note out. So Canadian OG bike holders, you also now, if you haven't heard, you can also order that free seat post replacement.
Yeah, and one thing to reiterate, I know we talked about this last week, but the recall is about the seat post literally snapping off and breaking. You know, there's a lot of issues out there with the seat post that might slide down over time, and that's on both the OG bike and the Bike Plus. But the issue that the recall is over and why there's only 36 or so reported incidents is about the seat post literally snapping off the top of the seat and just shearing off. So it's kind of a different issue. There might be future things that happen with the seat post sliding, but this recall is over it literally snapping off.
Yeah, right.
And I did think it was interesting that in the Canadian recall, they did go ahead and mention when they've seen it most likely occur. So again, that's if you're over 5'11" and over 250 pounds. So that wasn't mentioned in the US recall notice, but that information was in the Canadian, but it's applicable to everywhere.
To both regions, yeah.
Yeah, and they've explicitly stated they don't expect the recall to expand to the UK, Germany, or Australia. And that's still kind of the language they're messaging. So this remains just a US and Canadian recall.
Gotcha.
So sticking with the bike recall, we mentioned it was originally recalled over a week ago. Well, we already have our first lawsuit over this. On Wednesday or Thursday in South Carolina, a class action lawsuit was filed against Peloton over this new original bike recall. It's the case is Brandy Miller versus Peloton Interactive, and they're seeking class action status for all U.S. original bike holders. They're making 8 different claims of ways they were wronged, including unjust enrichment, which is Peloton's keeping your money and your monthly fees while they know there's issues happening. They're also going after negligence, design defects, manufacturing defects, and several other cases. This was filed less than a week after the recall was announced. Anyone can file a lawsuit, so it'll be interesting if this one goes anywhere or not. It was just filed, so we don't really know anything more, but we can share updates in future weeks if it happens to go anywhere.
All right. Well, yeah, another week, another lawsuit, it seems. So it's been par for the course for quite a while. And keeping the Peloton lawyers busy.
You're the biggest company out there, so I guess there's bound to be some lawsuits filed against you.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Peloton Bike, now moving on to the Bike Plus, you can now get the Bike Plus on Amazon in the US. It just showed up this week. Up until now, the only hardware devices that you could buy on Amazon in the US were the Peloton Guide and the original Peloton Bike. It started out with the original Peloton Bike because they had to update all their shipping and packaging so that you could do a self-install and they could flat pack it to send it out to people more easily. And up till now, you couldn't do that on the Bike Plus. They now have a self-assembly guide out there for the Bike Plus, and I guess they made it a little easier to pack it down. You can now get the Bike Plus on Amazon.
Very nice. Well, shifting to program content. So Andy Speer's new program, his new strength training program, was officially announced on the 15th. Now it's a program, but it's found in the collections section on the Peloton app and hardware. It's called Total Strength Density Training, 4-week training program of classes. And according to Andy, it's designed as a goal-oriented program to help you build lean muscle and change body composition. The program was first teased last week in an email to some members and now has been officially released. It's being released 1 week at a time. So at 10 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern time in the morning, each Monday until all 4 weeks are available, which will be on June 5th, 2023. With the first, sorry, the dogs, they're wrestling right now.
It happens.
On June 5th, yeah, with the first, all are available on June 5th, 2023, with the first week being released just recently on the 15th, this past Monday. So if you're wondering how to join Andy Speer's Total Strength Density Training Program on Peloton, you just take the classes one by one. There's nothing to officially join, like a challenge that you have to opt into. So it is out there, and I'm curious to see what everyone's thoughts are so far. I know, his Total Strength TS1, TS2 were big hits, so I'm sure this one will be super popular.
Yeah, I know some people already jumped into it and at this point have finished the first week. I've not really seen those reviews yet. I know people were very excited about it. I do think it's interesting that this is a program. It's called a program. It's designed like a program. It's 4 weeks. But like you said, it's in the collections. Andy kind of went on Instagram and talked about it. He's like, yeah, it's kind of a naming issue. It is a program, but he knows, and Peloton, I guess, knows people don't like the structure that the program forces you into. You can't jump around. If you miss a day, you can't go back. And he specifically said, like, this program is designed so that once you've done it and the classes are good to kind of take as standalone. So this will make it easier for you to go back and do weeks 2 and 3 if you want. Or if there's one class you really like, to jump in and do that. So it kind of gives a lot more flexibility to do that. It just creates a naming issue where it's a program like everything else, but it's just in the collections.
Right.
Yeah. So moving on, we have at long last a Bruce Springsteen artist series that took place this week. There were 8 or 9 different classes, including the one that everyone has been waiting for, a ride with Jenn Sherman. Did you have a chance to take that one, John?
So I posted about it. I never work out at night, Chris. And,
Yep.
It was on that Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time slot. I tuned in for the pre-show on the app because I wanted to see the excitement, obviously, in the pre-show. And it was a full studio of members. And,
On a Wednesday night, yeah.
Yeah, on a Wednesday. I didn't do it. I had already done a bunch of workouts. And as of right now, I have not done it yet. It's on the agenda. Did you do it?
No, I haven't had a chance yet. I saw a lot of people posting about it, and if you're a Jenn and Bruce fan, everyone's been loving it. So,
yeah, obviously she was super excited about it. I almost knew that there would be criticism,
of course,
like there is with everything. You can't make everyone happy with the content that Peloton puts out, but. It was kind of disappointing to see, everyone piling on that post on the official Peloton member Facebook page about her, talking like dirt, complaining about her talking and singing dirt. That's Jenn. That's just who she is.
Right.
So you have to expect that. And anyone who doesn't know her, she's the OG instructor. She's the original. But, it was just she was so excited in the whole week leading up to that. Mm-hmm. She was constantly posting about it. And it was great to see members in the studio there who were, I guess it was an invite special.
They actually opened it up on the booking studio site.
Public.
They just,
okay.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Okay, so anybody could have gone. So, yeah, it was great to see her passion for it. I love Bruce Springsteen. It was my first date with Jackie almost 20 years ago. It was a Bruce Springsteen concert in New Jersey.
Nice.
But working out to him, it's just different.
Sure.
there's a lot of like slower type songs. So I wasn't as like super pumped to go take it, but I was excited for her.
Right.
So I definitely tuned into, the first 15 minutes of it. And it was great to see everyone. I mean, the energy was great. So, I mean, I'll take it just, to support her.
Yeah. Well, outside of Jenn's class, there are a whole bunch of other classes that are out there for you to take as well. So you also had a ride with Sam Yo and Charlotte in German. You had runs available with Tobias Hines and Susie Chan. You had strength with Andy Speer and Marcel Marr. You had a yoga class with Dennis Morden, and there was a row with Alex. And before we move on, just as a reminder, next week there's a Jonas Brothers artist series coming up. So you have that to look forward to next week.
Nice. Well, we had some new prenatal classes dropped from Robin Arzon, all on May 12th. There is a 20-minute prenatal full body strength, a 5 and 10-minute prenatal core strength. And just a reminder, we have a full list of Peloton's prenatal classes on pelobuddy.com, which include some in cycling, strength, yoga, and even some prenatal meditation classes. So you can check out the full list of all the current ones available.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch out there. They seem to add them, and they'll go a couple months without them, add a couple more. But over the years, there's been a lot out there. So yeah, moving on. This week, there's also been a bunch of mental health classes released. There were 8 different classes released over the course of the week. One of the recurring ones they've been doing over the last several years is Kendall Toole has a mental health awareness ride, and she dropped that on demand this week. You also had a meditation from Kira and Anna. You had walk or runs from Jocelyn, Robin, or Tobias. You had a ride from Eric Yeager, yoga, and a yoga class from Anna. So that was 8 classes, across lots of different modalities. There is a badge for these classes, but it's not a new one. There's an old one that was first out in 2021 that they've renamed to be without a year. So it just gets that same mental health awareness badge. In addition, This week is Father's Day in Germany, May 18th. So happy Father's Day. There were 2 classes released in German in celebration of this. They were dropped on demand. There's a ride with Cliff and a run with Jeffrey. There's no badge for either of these. And for those in the U.S. and other countries, the in-person studio schedule shows there will be at least 1 and possibly more classes in celebration of U.S. Father's Day coming up in June. So we have that to look forward to in June as well.
Nice. I'm hoping that we get a Peloton dad or Peloton father apparel shirt drop, because I know years ago, maybe in 2016 or 17, they had a Peloton dad shirt that came out for Father's Day, but there really hasn't been anything like that since. So maybe we'll get a surprise Father's Day shirt drop.
Yeah, guess we'll have to keep an eye out.
Yeah. Well, in other sad news, I'll have to say this is pretty disappointing to me, but we've had another 2 weeks of classes from 2019 purged from the Peloton library. So another round of class library maintenance took place on Friday, May 12th, resulting in the removal of classes filmed between May 1st and May 16th of 2019. There are a few exceptions to those to that content and that date range, though, that remains in the library. But the oldest content now, currently in Peloton's library, dates back to May 17th of 2019. And just as a little reminder, class library maintenance in Peloton's removal of older content from the on-demand library, it'll take place more routinely on Fridays moving forward, as it was previously announced back in April. The first set of classes were purged on April 28th, and then another set was purged on May 5th. The May 12th removal marks the 3rd consecutive week of classes being removed. Each time 2 weeks worth of classes have been purged, though nearly all classes filmed between that May 1st and May 16th have been deleted. There are 2 exceptions, as I mentioned before: a 30-minute 5K race prep with Matt Wilpers, 5-minute core strength with Emma Lovewell, which has been taken over a million times at this point. And if this continues, the next round of class library maintenance could result in the removal of Cody's Backstreet Boys ride, which is a 30-minute BSB ride from I know it's May 19th.
May 18th, I think.
May 18th, which is my second favorite ride of all time. I was really sad to see my number one ride that I was in the studio for on the, Bike 6 camera bike from Homecoming 2019. It was the May 5th 30-minute epic sing-along ride with Jenn Sherman. That one, fell victim to the Great Purge. Fortunately, I have a ton of clips like years ago that I had already screen recorded of, great moments from that class. But I was super bummed. And I hadn't done that class in years, but it's still just sad to see, like, I could never go pull it up if I wanted to on the bike and do it again, which I don't do. I mean, I haven't done Cody's Backstreet Boys ride in a couple years, but now I'm thinking probably it might be a good idea to take it just in case. But hopefully that will be one of the classes that will have an exception, that will remain just due to how popular it is. Just like they did with Robin's 30-minute Greatest Showman ride. That's one of the other exceptions that they made. That one has so far remained in the library because I know that's my wife's favorite ride. She's probably done that at least a dozen times. So Peloton has previously said that they would make exceptions for some classes that are exceptionally popular or part of a program. So hopefully Backstreet Boys won't fall victim to the fourth round that's coming up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, like you said, they will make exceptions, but they've not really said what those are. It's a group of people doing it, but there might be some music issues that force them to purge rides they might otherwise keep. So we'll just have to keep an eye out and see.
I know I said it with John Mills, but it's going to be sad when there's virtually no content left from 23rd Street and the old Tread studio, because there were just some great classes and moments. And it was just, it was such a tiny room, and just the production wasn't as super clean and perfect, and I almost kind of liked that for the random moments that would happen, or the random goofs, or people on their bike. I'm gonna miss that when it's completely gone, and obviously it's happening.
Yeah, the one thing that to keep in mind with that is, like, you enjoy that because you were there and around at the time. Newer people probably think, oh, that studio's not great compared to what they have now. And there were maybe 1 million members back who joined before they moved to the new studio. And now there's almost 7 million. So the vast majority might be in that, oh, this old studio's not great. So that might weigh into it a little bit too, of just what the vast majority of people, are thinking about that old studio.
Yeah, there's definitely a nostalgia factor, obviously, with me. And, Amanda and John Mills, rode, and I don't know if you rode.
Yeah, so did I.
You rode in the 23rd Street studio,
Yep.
But I even know back in 2017, 2018, some of the even older content, they had sort of this like, it was like almost like the mirror behind the instructor in the cycling studio wasn't completely level, and you would see like this weird patterned wallpaper before they kind of updated that, and all that content is completely gone, but
Long gone.
it's definitely more of a nostalgic feel, because 23rd Street, you could select what bike you could ride. It was just totally different back then. It wasn't as structured, lining up
Right.
to meet the
It didn't need to be,
instructor and
though.
chatting. Right. It was just, it was obviously a tiny space, a fraction of the size of what PSNY is now. But it'll just shed a little tear for the 23rd Street content.
Definitely. Moving on, we have another instructor who's going to be off the schedule for a little bit. Kirsten Ferguson shared on Instagram this week that she's been dealing with an injury, and she showed a picture of herself on her crutches. She said that she's going to be off the schedule for a few weeks. She didn't say specifically why, but she hinted it might be her hip. She's been sharing some more posts on Instagram going through her recovery. So the other instructor who's going to be off a little bit is Adrian, who, as we shared the previous week, has elbow surgery, and he'll be off through the summer probably as well. So we hope Kirsten and Adrian both have a quick recovery, and they've both been posting updates on their social media, kind of going through their recovery process.
Yeah. Did Adrian ever say exactly what his elbow injury stemmed from?
I don't think there was like a moment that caused it. I think it was just a use over time type thing.
Okay.
He did say there was one thing he was doing when he really felt some pain and he popped it back in and just kept moving on. But I don't remember right now specifically what it was.
I thought I had it in my head that it was related to, because he posted the injury update. He was going to be taking time off right after that instructor summit. I thought for some reason maybe he messed it up playing dodgeball in that heated instructor dodgeball game, and I would have thought that would have been a wild reason to be off camera, on leave for so long. So I wasn't sure if it was dodgeball related.
Yeah, so I just pulled it up, and he said that he first hyperextended it back in 2018, and it's been bothering since then. And he said that it's just continued to bother him over the years, and that he finally went to get an MRI recently, and they kind of diagnosed him, and they said you can keep going or you can just get it fixed now. So I don't think more recently.
Gotcha.
Not that he said, at least, maybe like you said, it was just a dodgeball got a little too rough and really bothered him after that. But one other quick thing to note is that if you've been keeping your eye on the upcoming class schedule, it looks like we have an extended closure coming up, and that's going to be right after Memorial Day in the U.S. Starting on May 29th through possibly up through June 3rd. We're not sure at this point, but it looks like there's no classes at either studio. We do know that there's no in-person classes at either studio from June 1st through 3rd. But the public schedule of all classes has not been released at the time we're recording up through that weekend. But since the studio is closed, I imagine there won't be live classes either. So if that's the case, from May 29th through June 3rd, we might have no classes. I think they said when they posted the studio schedule is just for standard studio maintenance. I do remember in a recent class with, I think it was Bex Gentry, she alluded to the fact that the speaker system in the Tread studio was going to be getting an upgrade. So they could be doing a bunch of small projects like that all at once, and around the Memorial Day holiday, just giving the coaches a little extra time off. So just be aware of that coming up in the coming weeks.
So basically another pause and reflect, which maybe they'll label it such. Well, shifting to sales, we have a hardware sale that's been extended by another week. So Peloton has extended their sale on all hardware devices to run until May 23rd. So the original bike, which is now available on sale again. In addition, they're also offering temporarily 0% APR financing on their longer loan terms, including 24 and 39 months. And then we also had some Summer Apparel drop just recently. They released a little Summer Apparel collection for hot days and cool nights. It's labeled. I noticed there's a lot of aqua color tones, particularly in women's, and at least one shirt in men's. I didn't really see anything in the menswear that made me want to use one of my remaining referral codes for. I didn't see any Dream Blend edition stuff. I know Cody on his ride this past Friday morning on his pop ride, he was wearing one of the new gray t-shirts with the Peloton P on it, which looks kind of sharp, but nothing that really, like no zip up hoodies that I noticed. So I'm thinking this one's a skip for me.
Yeah, I'll personally wait and see if anything shows up on one of the sales, and I might reevaluate then. But like you, I didn't really jump out and grab anything in the first drop here. So sticking with apparel, Kendall Tools' Spiritual Gangster apparel line had a restock this week. If you're not familiar with the brand Spiritual Gangster, she has a never knocked out apparel line that she co-created with them. The first release of it was a few months ago. I don't remember specifically when, but they had a restock earlier this week. I think there are one or two new items that were dropped as well, but from what I was saying, it seemed mostly like a restock of old items plus one or two new items as well.
Nice. Did you see that? Is that beanie in there? The beanie hat?
I'm not sure on that one. Sorry.
Okay. That one I kind of had my eye on. I know she loves to wear a beanie, a wool beanie hat in class, which I could never ride with a wool hat on, but Kendall pulls it off somehow.
Especially for those pop punk rides.
Yeah, exactly. She gets into it. Well, piggybacking on the apparel news, so Cody has an Adidas apparel collection just announced recently. It actually seems to just be a curated collection of previously available Adidas items. But the collection is called The Hit of Happiness. It's available for purchase via the Adidas website. It's not through Peloton Apparel. But the collection ranges from 8 different pieces, all for men. There's a selection of pants, shorts, tanks, and a hoodie, and they range in price anywhere from $40 to $65.
Yeah, and one more story on apparel. Olivia PUMA has her Puma collection coming out. I've seen both May 20th and May 22nd mentioned, so it either came out Saturday or is coming out Monday. But to celebrate, they're hosting a Shop with Olivia event that took place at the flagship New York City Puma store this past Saturday. It was a free RSVP to it. It's called Shop with Olivia, but you have to imagine there was a meet and greet piece involved with that too, even though it didn't explicitly say it. This is the second event with Puma that's taken place. When Alex Toussaint had his Puma collection that just came out, they did a similar event at the store on that Saturday as well. So this is the second Peloton instructor to come out with Puma apparel in the last several months.
Is this the Puma flagship store? Is this Midtown Manhattan?
I believe it was 49th and 5th, it said.
Oh, yeah, Midtown.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, rounding out the news, we want to wish a very happy birthday to Matty Giacomo, who celebrated his birthday this past Wednesday, and also to row instructor Ash Pryor, who celebrated her birthday on Saturday. And also, I had noticed we also want to give a happy 3-year Pelo anniversary to Adrian Williams, who on Friday the 19th, the Peloton Studios Instagram account celebrated him with a little reel of some funny Adrian moments at the studio and on camera in some of his classes. So he's obviously still on injury leave, but wishing him the best and happy anniversary to Adrian.
Yeah, happy birthday and happy anniversary, everyone.
All right, so we get right into instructors in the news segment, Chris. And
right.
I got the first item up. There was a listening party with Idina Menzel at Peloton. So recently, film and Broadway actress Idina Menzel had a listening party for her new upcoming album, which comes out in this fall. And it was attended by Mariana Fernandez and DJ John Michael, who got to listen to some of that new album. It's called Drama Queen, and it comes out, releases on October 27th. But Mariana shared a picture. John Michael, they both shared pictures with Idina. But Mariana shared in her post, she said, "Today I got to listen to her newest work and the heart and soul she poured into it. Epic doesn't begin to describe it. Thank you at One Peloton Music Team for an incredible afternoon with this legend that reminded it's okay to have all the emotions and all the drama."
Yeah, it looked like there was actually a lot of instructors there. Several of them have been posting pictures throughout the week. I saw Kristen McGee, Alex, Katie Wang. So there have been a bunch of them. And, Matty Giacomo posted as well, and he's a big Broadway fan. So I think he was really geeking out over her and the Broadway connection. So it just, might be a collaboration coming up, or it might just be one of those perks that they try to arrange for Peloton instructors and the team. But it looks like an interesting event to get to go to. Was it at PSNY? I from the couple of pictures, I didn't recognize the space, but I figured it was the lounge area maybe. I wasn't sure offhand where it was. I kind of assumed it was, but like you, I couldn't tell from the few pictures that I saw. Yeah. Well, this week, or I guess at the end of last week, Matt Wilpers was on another podcast. He was on the Intentional Wisdom podcast, which is hosted by Greg Champion. In the past, Dennis Morton has actually been on that same podcast as well. So that's 2 Power Zone instructors that he's interviewed. They talked about Power Zone training, Matt's career path getting to Peloton, and more. The interview is around 1.5 hours, and you can find that on either YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. And again, that's the Intentional Wisdom podcast.
Very cool. And I love the fact, I have to bring up the fact that that row class we were on a week or so ago with Matt, it was, what was it, a 20-minute pop row?
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that when he spotted you in the pre-show, he goes, "Oh, Pelo Buddy's here. I gotta be careful."
Yep, can't have any loose lips on that one.
No, Matt's always good about that. He never lets anything slip. So yeah, he was well behaved. Yeah, exactly. Well, Benny Adami, he recently went to the premiere of the new Little Mermaid movie that comes out on May 27th, I believe, Memorial Day weekend.
That sounds right.
Just around the corner. He said in his post at the theater, he said, "Go and watch it. Just remember, Prince Eric is mine." Grateful for this magical premiere. He thanked Disney Deutschland for inviting him. And so I assume he saw it in German.
I believe he was in Berlin.
Yeah, because the screen picture he captured, it was the Little Mermaid, but it was in the German, spelled out in German.
Yeah. Wrapping up instructors in the news, Hannah Frankson was featured in the Soho House magazine. She showcased with a fashion shoot in a nice outfit, and she was quoted as saying, "Moving her body is the most consistent thing in her life. Through good times and bad, it has kept me mentally grounded." And it was just a feature of 10 or so different people, but there's a nice big picture of her in there. And again, that's the Soho House magazine.
Well, that wraps up instructors in the news, and now it is time to shift over to member picks of the week.
All right, well, I will kick it off, and for our first pick of the week, we have Selena Samuela and her 30-minute Yeah Yeah Yeahs walk, and that was from May 11th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Tahoe Mama submitted that, and they said, "Great playlist if you enjoy the Yeah Yeah Yeahs." We also had Nico Serrani's 45-minute evening yoga flow, which was in German, also from the 11th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. That was submitted by Nico Serrani's Yogis. They said, "Really beautiful class, well-structured, and a perfect way to settle in for the evening."
All right, next up, we got Susie Chan's 30-minute 70s run from May 12th. Scottish Jen NYC submitted this one, and she said, "Fun 70s playlist and a great group of Susie Striders in the studio live for this one." And then Benny Adami's 30-minute Euro pop ride, which is in German, from the 13th. Art of Balance submitted this and said, "A Eurovision ride, a great party on the bike."
Next up, we have Bradley Rose's 30-minute 80s ride, also from the 13th at 7 a.m. Eastern. Tough Tiff Sweats, Jay Simley, and Amajar 3 all submitted this one, and they said, "A great 80s playlist with Bradley." Next up is Alex Toussaint's 30-minute Club Bangers ride from 2 p.m. on the 13th. Rachel Spins 24 sent this one in. She said it was a great energy from the studio paired with a great playlist.
This one was good. I did this one live, and it was not the usual ratchet club bangers. It was classic pop tracks. So it was just a nice change up. And Alex said, next week we're going back to ratchet. So for anyone who wants a little change of pace in terms of the playlist, this one was a nice one for him to mix it up a little bit.
Nice.
Next up, Dennis Morton's 45-minute classic rock ride from the 13th. Got this from Kath Kit. They said music was great and the ride went by so fast. And then Eric Yeager and Mila Wedekind's their 30-minute 2-for-1 Mother's Day ride, which is in German, from May 14th. Got this from HighCat72. They said 2-for-1 rides are always great, and this one was no exception for Mother's Day.
Next up, we have Mariana Fernandez and her 30-minute walk plus run, which was on the 14th at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mexicali Girl, Miller Family 20, and I submitted this one. They said it's a good, powerful message throughout the entire class and an almost all-female playlist. Plus, it's only her second live run so far. Next up was Olivia Amado's 30-minute house run from the 15th at 6 a.m. Eastern. Esveld and Love Hard for Cake submitted this. They said it was Olivia's first run back after her honeymoon. Just an awesome run.
Nice. Next, we have Kendall's 30-minute mental health awareness ride from the 15th. Got this from Active Aaron Manis, Natty 9 Dominici, Peloton Overheard. They said, tears were shed and Kendall speaks so honestly about mental health paired with empowering songs. Knocked down, but never knocked out. And then next up, Christine Diericles, 20-minute 90s ride, also from the 15th. Bertha C. Runs MD, H.L. Dalton, and All Is Bright gave us this one. They said, a must-take if you are a fan of the TV show Yellow Jackets. All songs from the show. She was so happy with the in-studio riders, and it's structured like a Power Zone ride with a push at the end.
We now have Kelly Gullickson in her 30-minute glutes and leg strength from the 15th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Amy Irene Virgo submitted this. They said they're still sore from this class, but in a good way. Katie Wong in her 45-minute row boot camp class from the 15th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Tunder Holmes submitted this. They said this is quite possibly the most perfect rock playlist. The first floor segment focused on the chest and the back, and I was still feeling it 2 days later. Katie works you hard while passing the time easily with a smile on your face so you don't even realize you're toast until afterwards. It's one of the hardest things I've done on the platform.
Have you done a 45-minute or longer row yet?
I've done a row, but not a row boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been trying to stack some shorter ones together to it just because there's more of them. But yeah, I've done one or two of them. I've not tried one of the 60-minute ones yet. We're working up to that one.
Yeah, I definitely baby steps for me to get up to that duration. But the row boot camps are great in terms of just breaking it up. Kind of the monotony, the transitions to the floor. All right, next up, we have Camilo Ramon's 20-minute 2000s rock run from the 16th. We got this from Karen Zemsky-Berry and Denise C. Compton. They said some 2000s throwback with Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Evanescence, and more. Great energy and format. Bookmarked to take again. And then next up, we have Kristen McGee's 20-minute Focus Flows Hips Yoga, also from the 16th. Got this from Lima 007. They said perfect for a post-run or ride stretch.
Great. Next up is Maddie Majacomo's 30-minute hike from the 16th at 9 a.m. Eastern. That was from Go Jill Go Faster, Miles and Crowns, and Robin R.A. They said it was Maddie's birthday hike, fun to hike with a birthday boy, amazing playlist, and great energy. Highly recommend. We also have Jess Sims in her 60-minute full-body bike boot camp class, also from the 16th at noon Eastern. That was from Lar Workman. They said this was a full beast mode class the entire time.
Yeah, I think I ended up doing I was on the tread at that time. I think it was a boot camp. Or no, maybe it was a Selena, her run plus her walk plus run that she did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was like I had to
pick and choose.
Selena, I love my Selena Samuel, and now that she's back off of maternity leave, it's nice to have her back teaching again.
Yep.
All right, so shifting over to Jocelyn Thompson Rules 30-minute tread boot camp, body weight from the 16th. We got this from Tunder Holmes. They said Jocelyn gives plenty of modifications for beginners, but don't let body weight fool you. This boot camp packs a punch. Same solid and straightforward programming you can count on in every JTR boot camp with a great playlist of mostly hip hop and R&B with some fun remixes. And then next, Leanne Hainsby's 20-minute Tabata ride also from the 16th. Got this from Glamazon 616. They said a totally PRable Tabata ride, and her energy was great the whole class.
Nice. Next up, we have Bex Gentry in her 45-minute pop run, which is from the 16th still at 5 p.m. Eastern. That was from Mandy Rose and MN Trisha. They said it was fun music and a killer workout, great mix of old and new music. We also have Kira Michelle in her 15-minute mental health meditation from the 16th at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. That was from Amajar 3, who said, just an incredible class. Everyone should take this one.
Cool. And Tobias Heinz's 20-minute mental health awareness run, which is in German, from the 17th. We got this from twin mom Anna. She said, so full of good tunes, love, and support. And then rounding out the picks of the week, this is probably the most popular submission from a lot of members. Jenn Sherman's 45-minute Bruce Springsteen ride from Wednesday the 17th. Got this from Allie 21 times 0, Rachel Spins 24 from Small Things, Ginger 85, Brandon Chorn, Stay Gold, LK Kaufman 1, Right on Time, and Allison RC Scheid. They said this was off the charts amazing. Jen has waited for this ride for so long.
Nice.
Yep, and that wraps it up. And yeah, appreciate you sitting in, Chris. That wasn't so bad, was it?
No, he's, good to fill John and Amanda's shoes for a minute. Keep the seat warm for them until they get back. So
yeah, Amanda's she's enjoying the Italian coast somewhere right now.
Yeah, looks quite
nice
pleasant where
stop
she
in
is.
London. Yeah, I'm sure no complaints from her. Hopefully we'll see her back here. I don't know what we'll. I'm going to be going away for Memorial Day weekend, so I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be Amanda and John next week.
Yeah, I'm sure I think Amanda should be back, so I'm sure we should still have an episode, some sort of another for next week.
Yeah. Well, as I like to say, I appreciate everyone tuning in, watching, and listening to us from all over and from here in Michigan. Bye for now, and we'll see you on the leaderboard.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And from here in Atlanta, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.